I could have been buying a flamingo printed mariachi hat, and I would find a reason and a justification for purchasing that item. So in order to protect myself from myself, I've created this sort of labyrinth of questions and process to being able to know if I really need an item. Yeah, what can I say? I know myself. I'm just protecting myself from myself.
Like, ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like. Ride with me if you ride with me, you can slide with me if you feel like.
Okay, hey there, fashion friends. Thank you for tuning in to today's episode. Welcome back or welcome for the first time. Either way, I'm very happy that you are here with me today. If you are new here on this channel, I speak to finding our confidence and our own personal style, as well as looking further into the quality of our clothes. So if that sounds of interest to you, definitely click that subscribe button, and as well as that, click that little bell to get notified when I post my new episodes. Okay, so what are we talking about on today's episode? We are looking at how to choose the best pieces for our capsule wardrobes. And what that begins with is our anchor pieces. So if you are new here, I've done a series of different videos speaking to how to build capsule wardrobes. And a big part of my process, a big part of how I build my wardrobes is using anchor pieces. They are the first piece that I start with when creating it, because it is ultimately the pieces that I'm going to build the rest of the wardrobe around. So anchor pieces are extremely, extremely important. This is the second episode of this series. The first episode was beginning your capsule wardrobe. So I'll definitely link that down below. If you missed it, you can check it out and it'll kind of help you to get into this video. But if you haven't seen that, this video should still make sense. But along with that, I've created a worksheet to go with today's episode, just like I did in the first episode of beginning your capsule wardrobe. So I'll make sure to link both worksheets down below. So just in case you missed the first one, you're able to get that as well. Because I sometimes think having a visual and having like a physical piece of paper or physically writing things out really helps us to work things out. So the outline of today's video is basically just going through a sort of checklist of questions to ask yourself when you're choosing your anchor pieces. So what are anchor pieces specifically? Anchor pieces are going to be just that. They are going to anchor your wardrobe. Whether you're going like a full-on capsule wardrobe for just all seasons, all year round, whether you're going just a seasonal capsule wardrobe, or whether you're going with a modular capsule wardrobe, which is much more defined for different lifestyle purposes. Maybe it's different patterns that you want to focus on, or a different color palette that you want to focus on. So whatever sort of range you're choosing, you're always going to have anchor pieces. You're always going to start off with the anchor pieces, because they're what's going to make it so much easier and a lot more approachable to creating the rest of the wardrobe. Okay, so with that, I think we should probably get started. Yeah, otherwise I'll just keep going. Okay, so the first thing you want to ask yourself before you do anything else is, do I love this piece? Do I love this piece? You do not want your anchor piece to be like a compromising piece. You do not want it to be something you're like, yeah, I like it, but it's not my favorite. Or, oh yeah, I do like this part of it, but I don't like this part of it. Your anchor piece, you need to love, because it's gonna be your ride or die piece, right? So you really have to love that piece. So that is just like an easy one. And I would say for the most part, it's a pretty easy answer. I think you can feel that answer. You can feel it in your gut. Like, you know, do I love this piece? If you don't, keep it moving. If you do, let's get into question number 2. So question number 2 is, does this fit within my focus for this capsule wardrobe? So in episode number 1, I spoke to finding your focus for a capsule wardrobe. And this ultimately means kind of the function for the capsule wardrobe. What do you need this capsule wardrobe for? Is this just an everyday life capsule wardrobe that you're using for all year round, all seasons? Is this something that you want for seasonal purposes? Or is this something that you want for a specific lifestyle purpose, like your mom life, your office life, your happy hour life? your workout life. Like, what are you creating this capsule wardrobe for? Like, what is the focus? So that is one of the things you have to ask right away is, does this piece fit within the focus I'm going for? But that's kind of where you have to really, dive into the focus, which brings us to question number 3 is, does this piece fit within my sub focus? So again, this is something we touched on in episode 1, but ultimately the sub focus is going to sort of be your theme, is going to be kind of the inspiration for the style of the wardrobe. So whether that's being inspired by color, maybe it's by pattern, or maybe it's just a style mood. Some people really fall in love with like a bold color like cobalt blue. I've definitely had a cobalt blue phase in my life, and that's what you want to be your anchor pieces because you want to revolve all the other pieces around that. I guess that's the question, is if you come across a piece that you really love, if it's not cobalt blue and your sub focus is a cobalt blue module capsule wardrobe, then got to keep it moving. And then again, with the style mood, one of my favorite style moods is edgy. So I love to create module wardrobes that have that edgy aesthetic. Usually my modules always have an edgy style mood in there somewhere, combined with something else. You can combine the different sub focuses. So maybe it's that you want an edgy with the color cobalt blue. There's no limit to what your sub focus can be, but whatever the sub focus is, the anchor piece needs to fit with that sub focus. This is kind of a tricky one because, like I said in the previous video, I sometimes don't decide my sub focus until I come across an anchor piece that I fall in love with. So sometimes the anchor piece actually dictates my sub focus. I create a lot of modules because obviously I'm always creating module videos for my channel. So I'm consistently making modules. So I'd say that's kind of why I do that a lot of times. Sometimes I let a piece that I come across sort of be the inspiration for a module that I'm going to create for an episode. Sometimes you can come across a piece that you're just so excited about and so inspired by that you decide, okay, this is what's going to dictate my sub focus for my capsule wardrobe. So staying consistent with all 3 of those first questions, with those first 3 steps, will help you then stay consistent throughout the whole collection, throughout the whole entire wardrobe, and will help to keep everything cohesive and circle back to each other. So the next 3 steps are going to help you to identify pieces that are going to fit within your daily life, within your daily lifestyle. This is going to help you to eliminate those pieces that you might love, but maybe it's that you more love the idea of them versus the actual function of them. Maybe they aren't actually going to fit within your lifestyle. So these are great for just kind of breaking it down even further to really get down to the nitty-gritty on like a functional level. Question number 4 is this comfortable to wear for my daily routine? So ultimately for this, I just mean more, is it comfortable for fit and is it comfortable for fabric? I've definitely had issues for myself in the past where I've purchased pieces that aren't necessarily comfortable. So I love how I look in them. I love the style of them. They look super flattering, but at the end of the day, they're not super comfortable. So I end up never wearing them because they're just not comfortable. Maybe it's a really tight waistband and it's just digging into my waist constantly and cutting off, my air to breathe. And if it's not comfortable, unfortunately, it has to be nixed because no matter how cute it is, if I know it's not comfortable, I never wear it. And if I wear it, it might be for like a very small window of time, which just isn't worth it, especially when it comes to having anchor pieces, when it comes to having things that you're revolving a whole rest of the wardrobe around. It has to be comfortable. Then as well as that, speaking to the fabric, I think fabric is probably one of the most underestimated things when it comes to people making a decision for purchasing something or for bringing something new into their closet, because fabric is probably one of the number 1 things that will affect your comfort level, which I didn't realize for a really long time, which is funny because I feel like my mom raised me to like know what good quality fabric is. But I didn't realize for like a really long time why like a pair of leggings or a pair of like stretch pants were uncomfortable to me, because they were always kind of itching me, is because they had polyester in them. And so for me, I hated wearing those type of pants because they just weren't comfortable. So now I know that, and I'm well aware of that, and I always will avoid, getting pants or tighter fitting things that have polyester in them. So it's just, again, it's being aware of that sort of thing. So just kind of getting to know yourself and what your sort of fabric needs are. So if you're not aware of like what you're wearing or what sort of fabric you like, I suggest going to your current wardrobe and finding the pieces that you find the most comfortable. Like, what are the pieces that you grab for? What are the pieces that you just always want to be in, and that you just feel super comfortable and never want to take off? Look at those pieces, find their tag, and see what the fabric is made out of, and that will definitely help you to kind of understand what works for you. Along with that as well, if you have pieces in your closet that aren't comfortable to you, maybe there's a sweater that you hate wearing because it itches you, or there's a pair of pants that you always overheat in. Check the fabric for those as well and see what is in that, and that will then also make you aware of what is affecting you and what's not comfortable for you. And everybody's different. Like, I know some people have no problem with wearing acrylic. I absolutely hate acrylic. It's like my body knows instantly when I put acrylic onto my body, and it's just like, just gets angry with me very quickly. Number 5 is, does it add function to my daily routine? So an example, jeans. Why do I love jeans so much? Because of their function. They have 5 pockets, can put all sorts of stuff in those pockets. I hate when I'm not wearing jeans and don't have those 5 pockets. As well as that, I feel really good in them. They're super comfortable to me, and they go with everything. So to me, those are an easy choice for that functionality. Maybe it's a cardigan that you just know it's gonna keep you warm, know that you can throw it over any sort of outfit. You can layer it with anything. Maybe it's a top that you can style multiple different ways, or it just can be styled with so many different things. So that's kind of what I more mean by function. Obviously, all clothes, have the underlying ongoing function of keeping us clothed, keeping us warm, keeping us protected from the elements. But I more mean the function for your day-to-day life. So maybe you're a new mom, maybe you're still breastfeeding. So choosing pieces that are functional for that, choosing, button-up shirts because it's easy peasy to get access. So it's just thinking about that, thinking about the function for your day-to-day life. Okay, number 6 is this practical for my daily life? So getting even further into this is now going beyond the comfort and the function. Is it practical? So an example would be, for me, I love jeans, and I love white jeans. I love them. I think they're one of the most flattering things. And yeah, I just think they look so good, and they just go with so many things. And they're just super chic. But I know for myself, and I know for my daily life, white jeans just are not practical for me. I am a mom to a 4-year-old boy. I film videos. I am domestic. I take care of our house. I'm always outside. Like, I'm always doing something that can easily get me dirty. So white jeans just don't work. So it's just basically having that final hard reality check of if it actually makes sense for your lifestyle. There's a balance of being realistic, and there's a balance of being scared. I've had a lot of people comment about like the fact that I wear cashmere or, really nice sweaters or, these luxury type fabrics on a regular basis. And my point to that is that I used to be scared of it, but then realized that these are quality high-end fabrics that are supposed to be durable. That's the whole point of them. That's the whole point of their kind of luxury or their appeal, is that they're, high quality pieces. So they're supposed to be worn. And so I stopped kind of being scared of those things, even just as a mom. And I figure, well, most things can be washed. Most things can be fixed. So there is that sort of balance too. And if you're somebody that's like, nope, I can't wear cashmere, because I spill on myself 6 times a day. I work in the garden, with dirt and, beets and all sorts of stuff that can stain, and I just don't even want to go there. So that makes sense. That's fine. So that's kind of where it's at. Like maybe cashmere really doesn't work with your lifestyle. So it's really just having that thought process of like, is this realistically practical for what I like to do on a day-to-day basis? So the final 3 steps are to help ensure the style and integrity of the pieces that you're choosing, to make sure that these pieces are going to portray the best version of yourself. Question number 7 is, do I feel great in this piece? So this kind of digs a little bit further into the like, do I love this piece? Because I've definitely had pieces where I love them. At the end of the day, they don't necessarily make me feel like the best version of myself. They don't make me feel great and wonderful. So how does it make you feel? Do you feel sexy in it? Does it make you feel edgy? Does it make you feel like a boss? Like really, how does it make you feel and what makes it so great? Does it fit me in all the right places? Does it fit me how I truly want it to fit? Does it fit me in the way that I need it to fit me? Again, I think sometimes we don't think about that enough. You then lose that sort of intention that you need to basically really elevate the style. I feel like if you can't identify how it makes you feel, then it's probably a sort of meh sort of piece. And you don't want meh in your anchor pieces by any means. So I do think it is really important to recognize how a piece makes you feel, because I think for an anchor piece, it needs to make you feel something, because again, it is what is going to dictate the rest of your wardrobe. It is what your wardrobe is being built off of. So you need that strong foundation. You need that strong foundation of something that is really making you feel elevated, that's making you feel like the best version of yourself. Because if that core anchor piece makes you feel that way, then everything else will make you feel that way. Question number 8 is, what is special about this piece? So your anchor pieces can be anything, but there really should be something special about it, something that you've identified that kind of separates it from other pieces, that makes you see it as something worth revolving a wardrobe around. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. It could be something as simple as choosing a cami as an anchor piece because you love the scoop neck, the way the scoop neck fits. I've definitely found tops that I've absolutely been obsessed with and fallen in love with just for the specific little detail of the way the scoop neck fits. Or maybe it's something that you're like, yes, this is just, it makes such a bold statement. For me, I love my black and white stripe vertical pants, and they're what sort of inspired my last summer edgy capsule wardrobe video, was those pants. So it's just finding something, doesn't have to be something major, but just something significant to you that makes it special. And basically what that will do is it'll give you that why. It'll give you that why when you get down the further steps and you ask, why the heck am I revolving all of my clothes, my whole entire wardrobe around this piece? That will give you your why. It'll give you that reason. It's something small, but it's something very significant. And question number 9 is this a statement piece or a core piece? So a statement piece is gonna be something a little bit more bold or a little bit more specific. Maybe sometimes it's a little bit more trendy, but it's just gonna be something that makes a statement. Whereas a core piece is going to be pieces that are essential to your wardrobe, that you have on a regular basis, that is very important to, putting together a wardrobe to you, is timeless, is chic, and is really going to kind of withstand the test of time. So an example of a statement piece for me is the black and white vertical stripe pants. An example of a core piece to me is my favorite go-to Citizens of Humanity Kayla white button-up shirt. And Both of these are super important to me, and I've used both of these as anchor pieces within modules and capsule wardrobes. Now, the reason why I say it's important for this final question or for this final step to identify that is because this is what's gonna help you then go into the next steps. Maybe all of your anchor pieces are statement pieces, maybe all of them are core pieces, maybe it's half and half. But the idea is to be mindful of that so that then in the next few steps, you're making sure you're not bringing in more statement pieces. You don't have to have statement pieces. Some people don't like statement pieces. They just like a very minimalist, timeless wardrobe, and that is totally fine. I think you establish how many statement pieces you want with kind of what level you want your wardrobe to be more of a statement. Maybe you're somebody that always wants to be making a statement. I'm somebody that likes to sprinkle in statements. I don't like to go too overboard because I want those statement pieces to stay statement pieces. I don't want them to be distracted from. I want them to kind of be my show pieces. So I'm one that just likes to kind of sprinkle them in. So usually I have maybe within like a small module wardrobe of like 10 to 12 pieces, I usually will have a range of 1 to 3 statement pieces within that. So just identifying that before moving into the next steps will kind of help you to just be aware of those things. Okay, so those are the 9 questions to ask yourself every time you choose an anchor piece. So I do want to go into a few little flash tips before we end today. The first one is always have a color palette. Always have a color palette at the forefront of your mind when you're choosing anchor pieces and when you're moving forward with the rest of the process. The next one is anchor pieces do not need to be styled together. The anchor pieces are just your anchor pieces, and everything else is what's going to make the outfits, is what's gonna like build those outfits. So the anchor pieces don't need to actually make an outfit. Now if they do by just like default, cool, that's a bonus, but they don't need to. So that's why if you do choose to have like 3 bottoms as your anchor pieces, that's fine. The next tip is you don't need to worry about the categories, just meaning bottoms, tops, layering pieces, coats, accessories, whatever it is, because you can worry about the rest kind of down the line. It does definitely make it easier if you pick the same category, because then it makes all the other steps a little bit easier because you're basically building off that category almost like you would for like an outfit. So it's definitely easier to start off with like 2 bottoms or, 2 tops or something, but you can for sure use different categories. So I've definitely had ones where I've had a top, a bottom, and a layering piece as my anchor pieces. So it's really just, whatever you want to be those anchor pieces, and then you'll figure out the rest as you go. And the last tip is there is no limit to the amount of anchor pieces that you have. My kind of rule of thumb is like 1/3 of whatever the wardrobe's going to be. So if you're doing a little module wardrobe like I like to do with like 10 to 12 pieces, I usually keep my anchor pieces around 3 to 4 pieces. If you're doing like a 30-piece capsule wardrobe, you could probably do 6 to 10 pieces for your anchor piece, but even that, you could go a more minimal amount too. It's really whatever you're most comfortable with. All right, you guys, that is it for how to choose your best pieces for your capsule wardrobe. Definitely comment below if you have any questions on today's episode, and stay tuned for my next episode within this series, which will be building outfits within a capsule wardrobe. Like I said before, there will be worksheets linked down below to help those who like to have that physical piece of paper, that physical worksheet to help them work through the process. When you make that purchase, it does help me out, so I really do appreciate that. So thank you very much. So if you did like today's episode, give me that thumbs up, comment below, share with your friends, and subscribe for future weekly episodes, and click that bell to get notified when I post my new episodes. All right, everybody, you stay healthy, stay safe, love and support each other, and we will definitely be chatting soon. Bye.